cents together and the bat costs $1 more than the ball, how many cents does the ball cost? The answer to this question is that the ball costs 5 cents and the bat costs $1.05. And that works out because their sum is indeed $1.10 and the bat is indeed $1 more than the ball. Question 2, what is the next prime number after 7? The answer is 11. That is the fifth prime number. Question 3, in the sequence 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, what number comes next? Now, those are the first 5 square numbers, so the next number is the 6th square number, which is 6 times 6, which is 36. Question 4, a snail climbs 3 feet up a wall each day and slides back 2 feet each night. How many days will it take to reach the top of a 30-foot wall? Now, what we have to do is consider that on the first day, the snail reaches the 3-foot mark on the wall. Over the night, they go down by 2 feet, but on the second day, they reach the 4-foot mark on the wall. And what we are concerned about is them first reaching that 30-foot mark on the wall. So the sequence goes 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And so when will that reach 30? That will happen on the 28th day. Okay, question 5. What is 2 raised to the 10th power? Now, that very famously is 1024, but you can reach it by either just continuously doubling 2 until you reach 1024, or by squaring the number 32, which is the 5th power of 2. Question 6. Find the next number in the series 2, 6, 12, 20, 30. We look at the differences. To go from 2 to 6, you add 4. To go from 6 to 12, you add 6. To go from 12 to 20, you add 8. And to go from 20 to 30, you add 10. And therefore, logically, the next thing to do is to add 12, and we get 42. Question 7. Which letter comes next in this sequence? O, T, T, F, F, S, S. That is a sequence of letters O, T, T, F, F, S, S. The answer is the letter E. And the reason why is because those are the first letters of the names of the numbers in English. 1 begins with O, 2 begins with T, 3 begins with T, and so on. Question 8. If all zorks are blargs, and some blargs are glinks, does it necessarily follow that all zorks are glinks? The way to think about this is to imagine circles in your head and to use letters to stand for these strange made-up words. So Z would be inside B, and it says some blargs are glinks. So we know that B overlaps with G, but then it asks, does it necessarily follow that all zorks are glinks? So does it follow that Z is contained inside G? No, it doesn't. It might do. That might actually be the case, but it doesn't logically follow as necessarily so. Question 9. When two fair six-sided dice are rolled, what is the probability that the sum equals 7? Okay, so what are the ways that we have of getting this? Well, we have 1 and 6, 2 and 5, 3 and 4, and all their reverses. So 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5, 2, 6, 1. That's 6 possibilities out of 36 crossovers. So 6 out of 36, which is 1 in 6. Hello. Question 10. At exactly 3:15, what is the smaller angle between the hour and minute hands in degrees? Well, you might think that at 3:15, the hour and minute hand are pointing at the same spot, but they're not. Because at 3:15, the hour hand has moved a bit away from pointing at 3. But by how much? Well, there are 360 degrees in a full turn, and there are 12 numbers on a clock. So 360 divided by 12 is 30. So each time the hour hand moves one whole hour, that's 30 degrees added on. So when it moves 1/4 of an hour, that would be 1/4 of 30 degrees, which is 7.5 degrees. So that's the answer. Question 11. How many squares of any size are there altogether on a standard 8x8 chessboard? On a standard 8x8 chessboard. Okay, so, right, let's think about this. Okay. So for the 1x1 squares, we have 64. What about for the 2x2 squares? Well, let's think now. There are 7 along that way. And then there's 7 going down. So that should be 49. And then you can continue this. Oh, I see. So you just have to really add up the square numbers all the way up to 64. So 1 add 4 add 9 add 16, which makes 30. Plus 25 add 36, which makes 91. Plus 49, which makes 140. Plus 64, which makes 204. Okay. All right, next question, question 12. What positive number multiplied by itself equals the sum of itself added to itself? So we use algebra. What positive number multiplied by itself? Okay, so x squared, that's the positive number multiplied by itself. And that's equal to the sum of itself added to itself. Okay, so x squared equals 2x. So what positive number satisfies that? It must be the number 2. Question 13. In a foot race, you overtake the runner currently in second place. What position are you in now? Now this is a trap. This is a trap because a lot of people think, oh, I get it, I'm in first place. No, you overtook the person in second place, so now you have their place. You are now in second place. Question 14. What is 15% of 200? 10% is 20, and 5% is 10, and therefore 15% is 30. Question 15. In the Fibonacci sequence 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, what number comes next? The Fibonacci sequence works in this way. To get the next number, you add the previous two numbers. So it goes 1, 1, that's the beginning. Then comes 2 by adding 1 and 1. Then comes 3 by adding 1 and 2, and so on. So we are given 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. To get the next number, you add 8 and 13, and you get 21, which is the answer. Question 16. What is the next term in the look and say sequence? It starts out 1, then 1, 1, then 2, 1, then 1, 2, 1, 1, and then 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. So what you do is you just look at the numbers and you say how many there are of each. So the last entry in the sequence was 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. And what do you hear? You hear 3 1s, 2 2s, and 1 1. So you say 3 1, 2 2, 1 1. Question 17. What is the area of a right triangle with legs of length 3 and 4? The legs are the shorter sides of a right triangle. The longest side is called the hypotenuse. And because this right triangle has legs of length 3 and 4, you apply the Pythagorean theorem. So you do 3 squared add 4 squared, and then find the square root of that. And the answer is 5. It's the famous 3, 4, 5 triangle. Question 18. What is the sum of all interior angles of a convex pentagon in degrees? The interior angles of a pentagon sum to 540 degrees, famously, but you're going to work it out by applying the formula 180 multiplied by n minus 2. Question 19. A man says, brothers and sisters have I none, but that man's father is my father's son. Whose picture is he looking at? Okay, so I believe that he's looking at a picture of his father, because his father's father is his grandfather, and actually, let's think about this. That man's father is my father's son. Oh, is he looking at a picture of himself? Because his father is indeed his own father's son, yes, and he's an only child. Okay, so that solves it. He's looking at himself. Question 20. If a clock takes 5 seconds to strike 6 o'clock, how many seconds will it take to strike 12 o'clock? So you just double it and you get 10 seconds. Question 21. How many times can you subtract 5 from 25? Now, this is presumably a trick question because you can subtract it as many times as you like. But if you mean how many times can you subtract it before, you dip into the negative numbers, well, let's think. Take it away once, you get 20. Take it away twice, you get 15. Thrice, 10. 4 times, 5. And then 5 times, you end up at 0. Question 22. Find the next number, 235, 917. 235, 917. So we look at the gaps, and the gaps are 1, 2, 4, 8. So the gaps appear to be doubling. So the next gap should be 16. And 17 add 16 is 33. Question 23. I am an even 2-digit multiple of 5. And the sum of my digits is 9. What number am I? The answer to this must be the number 90. Because 90 is an even multiple of 9, and the sum of its digits is 9. Question 24. How many edges does a cube have? Well, it has 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top, and 4 as the pillars around the side. So that brings the total to 12 edges. A cube has 12 edges. Question 25. Using standard US coin denominations, what is the smallest number of coins needed to make exactly 47 cents? Okay, so standard US coin denominations. I believe it goes 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents. Therefore, to make 47 cents with the fewest number of coins, you would do 25 cents plus 10 cents plus another 10 cents and then plus a cent and another cent, bringing the total to 5 coins, I believe. Question 26. How many trailing zeros are there at the end of the number 100 factorial? All right, so the factorials. 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 120. The factorials grow very fast. 1, 2, 6, 24, 120, 720, 5040, etc., etc. They grow very fast. So how can we count the number of zeros at the end of 100 factorial? Well, you have to think, what adds 0 to the end of a number? Multiplying by 10. But what is it really that adds 0 to the end of a number? Multiplying by a 2 and a 5. That's what adds 0 to the end of a number. And how many times does this happen when you go all the way up to 100 factorial? How many times does this happen? Well, because every other number is even, we end up multiplying by a huge amount of 2's. A huge amount of 2's. But how many of the numbers are on the 5 times table? Much fewer. So those are the ones that we have to count. Now, it's tempting to think, oh, I know, the answer is just 20. Because 100 divided by 5 is 20, right? Well, be careful, because you get an extra factor of 5 for these numbers: 25, 50, and 75. And so the actual answer should be 23, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken. Question 27. Which of these numbers is the odd one out? 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. Now, the first 4 numbers are prime numbers. However, you can also think that the first number is even. So it depends on how you look at it. Question 28. What mathematical term is an algorithm, is an anagram of the letters algorithm? The answer is the word logarithm. Question 29. How many months of the year have 28 days? This is a classic trap question. The answer is all of the months have 28 days in them. Question 30. What letter comes next? J, F, M, A, M, J, J, A, S, O, N. Now, obviously, these are the first letters of the names of the months in English, and so the next letter is D for December. Question 31. What is the exact length of the diagonal of a square with side length 5? Visually, we can apply the Pythagorean theorem because we see a right angle triangle in our mind's eye. So what we do is 5 squared, add 5 squared, and then square root the result. So that's the square root of 50, which is 5 times the square root of 2, which is approximately 7.07. Okay. Question 32. What is the sum of the first 100 positive integers? This is a very famous result, but the way to think about it is you pair 1 with 100, 2 with 99, 3 with 97, and so on. Those pairs add up to 101. And how many pairs are there? 50. If you have 100 socks, you can make 50 pairs. So it's 50 times 101, which is 5,050. Question 33. How many sides does a dodecagon have? The answer is 12. Dodeca literally means 2 and 10. It's a 12-sided regular polygon. Question 34. True or false? 1 is a prime number. This is false. A prime number has exactly 2 factors, 2 distinct factors, 1 and itself, whereas 1 has only 1 factor, itself. Question 35. If it takes 5 machines 5 minutes to make 5 widgets, how many minutes would 100 machines need to make 100 widgets? As it takes 5 machines 5 minutes to make 5 widgets, we know that it would take 1 machine 5 minutes to make 1 widget, assuming they're operating in parallel. And therefore, it would take 100 machines 5 minutes to make 100 widgets as well. Question 36. What number is 1/2 of 1/4 of 1/10 of 400? We work backwards. 1/10 of 400 is 40, and 1/4 of that is 10, and 1/2 of that is 5. Question 37. I am a number. If you double me, subtract 6, then divide by 4, the result is 7. What number am I? To find the answer, you work backwards. Think of a stack of plates piled up. These are your operations, and you're taking them off the top. So the story went, if you double me, subtract 6, then divide by 4, the result is 7. So to reverse that precisely, you would have to first multiply by 4, so 7 times 4 is 28, then add 6 to get 34, and then instead of doubling, halve it, so it would be 17. Question 38. What is the next number? 1, 4, 27, and then 256. Okay, so this one does not seem so straightforward. One is in many sequences, 4 is 2 squared, 27 is 3 cubed, and 256 is 4 to the power of 4. Because you do 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, so you get 4, 16, 64, 256. And therefore, the next number is 5 to the power of 5. So 5, 25, 125, 625, 3,125. Question 39. There are two people. Each either always tells the truth or always lies. Person A says at least one of us is a liar. So, is person B a liar? Okay. Right, let's think. Alright, so if person A is telling the truth, and they are saying that at least one of us is a liar, then they must be saying that person B is the liar. But if person A is lying, okay, then it's not true that at least one of them is a liar. And you can't... Oh no, it actually is true. It actually is true. Okay, so it's impossible for that to be the case. Okay, so person A is telling the truth and person B is a liar. Okay, that's it. Question 40. How many degrees are in a right angle? The answer is 90 degrees. Question 41. Find the next number. 3, 8, 15, 24, 35. We look at the gaps. The gaps are 5, 7, 9, and 11. So those are odd numbers. The next one should be 13. And 35 at 13 is 48. Question 42. If the product of two consecutive positive integers is 56, what is the smaller of the two? Two consecutive positive integers means one follows the other, so it must be 7 times 8, and the smaller of those is 7. Question 43. What is the largest 3-digit palindrome? Well, I think it would be 999, because that reads the same forwards as backwards, and you can't get much larger than that. Question 44. What number less than 100 when written out in English has its letters in alphabetical order? Okay. Well, it's not the number 1, nor 2, nor 3, nor 4, nor 5, nor 6, nor 7. Oh, it's the number 8. Those letters E, I, G, H, T are in alphabetical order. Okay. Question 45. What is the smallest positive integer that is divisible by every integer from 1 through 10? Okay, so we are looking for the lowest common multiple of the numbers 1 through 10. Okay, so the naive approach would be to multiply all those together, but that only guarantees a common multiple, and it would be the 10th factorial, which is 3,628,800, which is not right. So what we have to do instead is 2 times 3 times 5 times 7 to get 210. But then notice that 9 contributes another factor of 3, and 8 contributes another 2 factors, another pair of 2's, and therefore we have to multiply 210 by 2, 2, and 3, or by 12. So 210 times 12, which is 2520, 2520. Okay, question 46. A car travels at a constant 60 miles per hour. How many miles does it travel in 15 minutes? Well, it would seem that the answer to that is just 15 miles, right? 60 miles per hour, so 1 mile per minute. 15 minutes means 15 miles. Question 47. What letter comes next? A, D, G, J, M. Okay, so A is 1, D is 4, G is 7, J is 10, and M is 13. So 1 for 7, 10, 13. And that's going up in 3's, so it should be the 16th letter of the alphabet, which is P. That letter is P. Okay, question 48. How many different 3-letter arrangements can be made from the letters A, B, C without repeating any letter? So you have 3 books on a bookshelf. How many ways can you rearrange those books? The answer is 3 factorial, which is 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6. Question 49. If you flip a fair coin twice, what is the probability of getting at least one head? The answer should be 3 out of 4, because there are 4 possibilities: heads, 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 tails, tails, heads, tails, tails. And 3 of those possibilities have at least one head in them. Question 50. A number is increased by 25% and then decreased by 20%. What percentage of the original number remains? If the number is increased by 25%, then you multiply it by 5 over 4. And if you decrease it by 20%, you multiply it by 4 over 5. So 5 over 4 times 4 over 5 is 1. So the number remains unchanged. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Question 51. In how many different ways can 5 distinct people sit in a row of 5 chairs? So this is permutations once more, and in this case it's going to be 5 factorial. So 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 120. Question 52. What is the sum of the interior angles of a triangle in degrees? That is a baseline fact in geometry, and the answer is 180 degrees. Question 53. How many diagonals does a convex hexagon have? Okay, so um hmm hmm just a second, let me just think about that. Okay, it would seem to have six. It would seem to have six. Okay, question 54. What is the value of 3 squared plus 4 squared? Well, that would be 9 out of 16, which is 25. Question 55. How many different two-person committees can be formed from a group of 4 people? So that is 4 choose 2. We consult the beloved Pascal's triangle, and we consult the row that goes 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And 4 choose 2 is the middle entry of that row, which is 6. Question 56. If a rectangle has length 8 and width 5, what is its area? The answer is, of course, 8 times 5, which is 40. 40 square units it would be. Question 57. What is the remainder when 100 is divided by 7? The answer is 2, because 100 divided by 7 is 14, remainder 2. Question 58. What is the next prime number after 20? The answer is 23. Question 59. What is the smaller angle between the hour and minute hand at 2:30? In degrees, by the way. So applying the logic that we did earlier on, naively, we would think that there are sort of 4-hour intervals between the hour hand and the minute hand. So 4 times 30, which is 120. However, the hour hand has advanced between the 2 and the 3 halfway. So we actually have to subtract 15 degrees. So 120, take away 15 degrees, is 105 degrees. Question 60. What is the sum of all even numbers from 2 through 10? So that would be 2 add 4 add 6 add 8 add 10. Now, 2 add 4 add 6 is 12, add 8 is 20, and add 10 is 30. Question 61. How many vertices does a tetrahedron have? A tetrahedron, aka a triangle-based pyramid, although really it should be an equilaterally triangle-based pyramid, has 4 vertices. Question 62. How many positive factors does the number 12 have? We can enumerate them. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and therefore it has 6 in total. Question 63. What letter comes next in the sequence SMTWTF? Now, those are the first letters of the days of the week. You can hear it. SMTWTF. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And therefore the next letter should be S. S for Saturday. Question 64. A father is 3 times as old as his son. In 12 years, he will be twice as old as his son. How old is his son right now? Well, now, I believe that Let's think. All right. All right, so I'm just trying combinations, but I shouldn't do that. I should think it through. Father's 3 son. Father had 12. Father had 12 is 2 son at 24. Is negative son. Okay, so I think I've cracked it. So I think that the son is 12 years old right now, and the father is... Yeah, the father is 36 years old right now, and so in 12 years' time the son will be 24 and the father will be 48. All right, that cracks it. Question 65, what is the value of 8 factorial divided by 6 factorial? Okay, so on the numerator of this big fraction, you can imagine 8 times 7 times 6 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And the denominator, you can imagine 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And then you can cross out the common factors pair by pair, crossing out the pair of 6s, the pair of 5s, the pair of 4s, and so on, until you are just left with 8 times 7 on the numerator, which is 56. Question 66. A lily pad doubles in size every day and covers an entire pond on day 48. Day does it cover half the pond? Well, because it's doubling in size each day, logically, it should be half as large as its maximal size the very day before it reaches it. So day 47. Question 67. Find the missing number. 5, 11, 23, 47. So we look at the gaps. The gaps are 6, 12, and 24. 6, 12, and 24. So those gaps appear to be doubling. And so the next gap should be 48. And so it would be 47 at 48, which is 95. Question 68. How many cubic inches are there in 1 cubic foot? Well, there are 12 inches in a foot. And therefore, a cubic foot we can visualize as being a 12 inch by 12 inch by 12 inch cube. So it would be the cube of the number 12, which is 1728. Question 69. If you toss 2 fair coins, what is the probability they show the same face? So the outcomes which satisfy this are heads, heads, and tails, tails. And there are 4 possible outcomes, and therefore it's 2 out of 4. Now, question 70, what is the square root of 256? The answer to that is 16, or potentially negative 16 as well. Question 71, what is the 10th triangle number? Or the 10th triangular number, beg your pardon. The triangular numbers are the numbers which are formed by this process. To get the first one, you do 1. To get the second, you do 1 add 2. To get the third, you do 1 add 2 add 3, and so on. And so we can use that to generate the sequence of triangular numbers all the way up to the 10th triangular number. So we get 1, 3, 6, 10, 15 for the first 5. Then comes 21, 28, 36, 45, and 55. That would be the 10th triangular number, but there is a sequence to there is a rather an nth term rule to jump ahead, and that is n squared at n all over 2. Question 72. How many zeros are there in the binary representation of the decimal number 8? Well, that would be 1000 in binary, and therefore there are 3 zeros. Question 73. What is the circumference of a circle with radius 7 expressed in terms of pi? The circumference of a circle, the general formula at least, is 2 pi r. And because the radius is 7, it should be 14 times pi, or roughly 14 times 3.14, which is 43.96-ish. Question 74. If today is Monday, what day of the week will it be 100 days from now? So be careful with these types of questions, because you can always be 1 over or 1 less. And the way to think about it is that 7 days from now, it should be Monday as well. 14 days from now, it should be Monday. So we follow the times table, the 7 times table, all the way until we get up just under 100. And the number that you're seeking there is 98. So 98 days from now, it should be Monday as well. Then 99 days from now, it should be Tuesday. And 100 days from now, it should be Wednesday. Question 75. What is the probability of drawing an ace from a well-shuffled standard 52 deck? Well, in a standard 52 card deck, there are 4 ace cards, and therefore, if it's well shuffled, the probability of that happening, of you drawing an ace, should be 4 out of 52, which is 1 out of 13. Question 76. What is the least common multiple of 4 and 6? The answer is 12. That's the lowest number that they both go into. But if you're thinking it's 4 times 6, no, that only guarantees a common multiple of the pair of numbers. Question 77. What is the volume of a rectangular box with dimensions 2 by 3 by 4? So the simple formula for this is length times width times height. So 2 times 3 times 4 gives us 24 cubic units. Question 78. How many faces does a regular icosahedron have? The prefix icosa means 20, and hedron means face, and so it is a 20-faced regular polyhedron. Question 79. A watermelon weighing 100 pounds is 99% water. After dehydration, it becomes 98% water. What is its new weight in pounds? Okay. Its new weight in pounds. Well, I'm really tempted to say that it just simply lost a pound of water, but let me just be careful. Okay, so 99 pounds of it is water, and then comes 98%, I just feel like it's tricking me somehow. No, I feel that's right. I can't see where I'm tripping up if that's the case. But I think it lost a pound of water. Okay, question 80. What is the product of all the digits on a standard telephone keypad? The standard telephone keypad features all the digits from 0 to 9. But if you multiply them all together, take note that you are multiplying by 0 in that process, and therefore their final product should be 0 as well. Question 81. How many prime numbers are there between 10 and 20? The answer should be 4, and those prime numbers are 11, 13, 17, and 19. Question 83. If a whole number is divisible by both 3 and 5, is it necessarily divisible by 15? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Question 84. What is the sum of the squares of the first 10 positive integers? So it is simply asking what is 1 add 4 add 9 add 16 add 25 add 36 add 49 add 64 add 81 add 100. Alright, so we should repeat the work from earlier. So 1 add 4 add 9 add 16 makes 30, add 25 makes 55, add 36 makes 91, add 49 makes 140, add 64 makes 204, add 81 makes 285, and add 100 makes 385. Although something feels a little off there. Question 85. If a fair six-sided die is rolled once, what is the probability of rolling an even number? Well, the even numbers on a fair six-sided die are 2, 4, and 6, and therefore the probability is 1 in 2, or 50%, or 0.5. Question 86. Find the next number in the sequence, 2, 5, 10, 17, 26. We look at the gaps. The gaps are 3, 5, 7, and 9. Those are the odd numbers. The next odd number is 11, so 26 at 11 makes 37. Question 87. In a dark drawer, there are 10 white socks and 10 black socks. What is the minimum number of socks you must pull out to guarantee a matching pair? Well, the drawer could be conspiring against you. It is highly improbable, but it is possible that you could withdraw from the drawer 10 socks, all with the same color. Hold on just a minute now. To guarantee a matching pair, oh, okay, there's no problem at all. The answer is simply 3. The answer is simply 3. Okay. Question 88. How many distinct arrangements are there of the letters in the word MATH, or math, as the Americans call it? The answer would be 4 factorial, which is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 24. Question 89. What is the maximum number of pieces you can obtain by making 4 straight cuts through a circular pizza? Okay, so with 1 cut it's 2, with 2 cuts it's 4, with 3 cuts it's 7, and with 4 cuts it's 15. I believe. Okay. Question 90. Using only nickels and dimes, how many different combinations of those coins total exactly 25 cents? Okay, so dimes, let's see, dimes are worth 10 cents, right? and a nickel is worth 5 cents. So we could do 10, 10, 5, 10 and 3 5s, or we could do 5 5s, and therefore there's 3 combinations. Question 91. If a number is multiplied by 3 and then 6 is subtracted, the result is the same as when the number is multiplied by 2 and then 7 is added. What is the number? So this is just a linear equation in disguise. So it would be 3x take 6 equals 2x at 7. 3x take 6 equals 2x at 7. So 3x equals 2x at 1. So x equals 1. The number is 1. And indeed, if we apply it, we multiply by 3 and then take away 6, so we get negative 3. And then for 1, we multiply by 2. And then, oh, that doesn't seem to work. Okay, good. So we tested it and it didn't work. Okay, let's be more careful now. Okay, so 3x take 6 equals 2x add 7. So x takes 6 equals 7. So x is 13 actually. That's better. Okay. Question 92. What is the missing number? 100, 81, 64, 49, 36. The next number should be 25, as this is the sequence of square numbers beginning with 10 squared and descending. Question 93. How many degrees does the minute hand of a clock move in 20 minutes? 20 minutes is 1/3 of an hour, and there are 360 degrees in a full turn, and so it's 360 divided by 3, which is 120 degrees. Question 94. A bag contains 3 red, 4 blue, and 5 green balls. If one ball is drawn at random, what is the probability it is not red? So 3 red, 4 blue, and 5 green, bringing the total to 12, but 3 of them are red. So 9 of them are not red. So it should be 9 out of 12, which is 3 out of 4. That's the probability. Question 95. How many lines of symmetry does a regular pentagon have? The answer is 5. Question 96. What is the sum of all prime numbers less than 10? So that would be 2 add 3 add 5 add 7, which would be 17. Question 97. If a person walks 2 miles in 30 minutes, what is their speed in miles per hour? 2 miles in 30 minutes translates to 4 miles in an hour, so 4 miles per hour. Question 98. What is the largest 2-digit number that is a perfect square? The answer is 81. 81 is 9 squared. Question 99. In a room, 5 people each shake hands exactly once with every other person. How many handshakes occur? Okay, so the first person shakes 4 hands. The second person shakes 3 hands, 3 unique other hands. Okay, so it would be 4 add 3 add 2 add 1, which is 10. 10 handshakes occur. And question 100. What number when cubed equals 64? The answer is 4. 4 cubed equals 64.